Today I am jumping into the Softbound LifePlanner, this Ettavee, gorgeous Ettavee horizontal layout for 2023 that the team at EC sent me in my holiday collaboration box. I am not only going to show you the beautiful insides of this, I'm also going to share some ideas for how to use this. If this beautiful, colorful version of this Softbound doesn't appeal to you, note that Erin Condren does make other A5 size softbounds that you can check out on their website. I'll make sure to leave links in the description, but the layout of it is going to be pretty much the same. The only thing that would change from design is the colors and the design. So first I want to note some of the specifics. The Ettavee line is a collaboration. The artist's name is Jessica, and Erin Condren has been collaborating with her to bring us some of these beautiful designs for a little while now, but this is the first planner with her design throughout. The A5 size life planners are 5.875 by 8.25 inches. This one has a rose gold edging. I don't know how else you would call this, but it's really pretty. And some of the life planners that are this size do not have this foiling in it. So if that's not your jam, then I'm sure you'll find one that doesn't have that. The softbound planners, the pages inside are a little bit different than the standard coil life planners. The pages are a 80-pound paper. They just aren't toothy. So this one is the 2023. It's for 12 months. You do get a ribbon bookmark, and it does go all the way through so that you can mark your place. Now I'm gonna go ahead and take off this information sleeve and show you how it compares to the coiled. This is the 7x9, and this is the exact same design. So this is my daily duo. This is the cover I ended up picking for it, and it's beautiful. I love it. So of course, the fact that they turned that into this, it's amazing. I've had a softbound planner before, and it was from the Focused collection, and so I used that. I bought it to use as like a little gratitude journal, and so I have experience using one of these for an entire year, and they do hold up very well. The quality is really nice. Opening and closing the pages, it does lie flat. If you kind of bend it back and massage it a little bit, you see how it opens so that it can lay flat, and it's just great quality. So if you're looking for something very lightweight and small, sitting this next to it, see how it's just a little bit smaller, and I'll show you like this how much smaller that is. It's very lightweight. So this is perfect for someone who doesn't have too much to plan or just wants something really small and they like writing small. This is great for that. So this is the back cover. It has the logo back here, not on the front. I like that. And I'd say it's like it's a sturdy cover, but it's not like rigid, like super rigid. It'll hold up. It's nice. So here's your nameplate page. It's got like the classic Erin Condren like blend. Then you turn to this gorgeous spread. Very best plans emerge when different perspectives meet. Here is the calendar at the front, and the 12 boxes for you to do with what you want. So how I've used this when I was using this planner for like setting up for like gratitude or tracking like yoga minutes and that sort of thing for like self-care, because I have like an A5 coil planner that I used for that for a brief time. I had set these up for like each month of the year, and then I had it so that I could like put down the total number of yoga minutes I spent and just any other measurements that I wanted to track in here. So that's how I use this. But if you're using this as like your actual planner, you can set this up any way that you want. How I have been using my boxes in the front of my planner is to like pre-plan. So this starts in January. So how I would set this up is I would actually make this a February, March, April, May. Actually, I could start it as January if I wanted to, especially if I was starting to move into this like in December. So typically around December, I might start getting some extra things that I know are going to happen in January. So I might set it up that way where it's like, okay, January, and I can list out the appointments that are going to be coming up. Some people use pages like this to mark birthdays and holidays and like special events that are going to be happening in each of the months. So you can kind of have a quick overview, but I like to have all of my like appointments, like the main things ahead of time so I can see it all in one place. Now, obviously this is not enough space like for in the months of September, October, November, when my kids have like a lot of activities going on. It's not enough space for me to put like their full schedule for all of their extracurricular stuff, but it is enough space for like just regular doctor's appointments or the main events related to their activities. So that's one way to use this. The next page that they have in here is a list of all the heritage and awareness observances. I'm assuming these should also be listed in the calendar pages. We'll take a look and peek at it and make sure, but I'm pretty sure even though they're all listed here, they should also be in the month, because yep, a lot of these are listed in my month view right now in my planner. So we'll take a peek and see. So this is what starts off your month. Every month you're going to get a page like this right before the calendar, and you'll have a lined notes page. This would be great for like maybe brainstorming for the upcoming month. Since it's pink, that means that the design from the team, they intended for this to kind of go along with this month. Though some people use this line page as like the end of the month page, and they will use it like that as opposed to like before. So it's up to you how you use it. Right now, actually, I'm using that page in my life planner for like my content related things. And then there's another notes page that I'm using for just like a regular brain dump for everything else that I have going on. So here's what the month view looks like in here. These boxes are not very big. So I know they're not 1.5 inches, but let's see. They are about 1.25 inch. 1.25 inch wide by approximately 1 inch. So I have these flags from Poi & Hun. I'm gonna try and grab it. And these are 1 inch by 1 inch little transparent squares, and these fit perfect. These would fit perfect in here. Pull one out. Oh, it's upside down. So these would fit perfect in here. So that way you can have an idea for how big these little boxes are. The next page after every calendar month is what they call a dashboard page, and then you have a lines page. So this is where I said this is where I'm having like my brain dump area happening, and here a lot of people use this for a ton of things. So, and for example, you might use one of these boxes to list out like all the bills that are happening this month. You can use it for just like listing out all the birthdays that are happening in the month. I like to use this dot grid area down here in my life planner to track my yoga minutes. And I have a video about that. If you want to see how that's set up, I'll go ahead and make sure to link it up in a card and also drop it in the description. So the A5 planner is horizontally laid out. And so this one, being the Ettavee, is colorful. And so this is like a purple for December that bleeds into the pink that they have. It's like a darker pink for January. So the way I have used this in the past, I actually tested this out one time to use like for myself. I believe I used this section for like to-do lists, and then I used this area like right here at the top, these first 2 lines, to jot the appointments that were happening that day. And then this space here, I don't remember what I used it for, maybe just notes. But for when I was using my A5 Softbound and then my coil for like daily journaling, I had this box here dedicated to like today's win. Maybe I split it up, or there were times where I had like my sleep. I was tracking my sleep and like how many minutes I was sleeping and my average heart rate. So I was like marking those things in this space here, and over here I would journal out. So I'd create a prompt and I would set it up for the whole week in advance. I would say like today, like today's joy, or just like just like what I'm grateful for, and I would just jot down. I also at some point did like just bullet points where I would just mark 5 things I was grateful for, and so there's enough lines for each one so I would write gratitude, and then I would write out each of the things I was grateful for. So this can be used in like so many different ways. I really feel like this is perfect for journaling, especially if you feel intimidated to fill out like an entire page to journal. I think this little amount of space to just write just a few thoughts about your day is a great start. So as you'll see, if you've never had an Erin Condren planner before, the January month, the 29th, this is the last week that's put in this January section, and then it turns to February. And so what they like to do is they have the weeks always start on a Monday. The weeks always start on a Monday, and so whatever there is a slight color change here. It's kind of difficult to see. It goes from like a pink to more of like a coral color. It kind of goes to like a color like this for February. And wherever the first lands is where that week is going to fall in the planner. So since the 1st of February falls on a Wednesday, that's why the last 2 days of January are in this area as opposed to it being back here in January. So in each week you have a little calendar here, which is cute, and it just repeats. And so I'm going to go ahead and flip through, and I'll speed this up so that you can see what each of the designs are for the beginning of the month. If you were interested in seeing that, I'll make sure I leave chapters down here so that we can skip to the end if you don't want to see all of these. The only downside to this is if you want a planner that has tabs, then you would need to put some on here. Now, I do not recommend using the vegan leather tabs from Erin Condren. Now, their tabs are kind of like a similar material to the cover, and yes, they are cute and you can get them to, they're colorful, but when I added it to my softbound planner, it really bulked up the pages because they are about this wide, and so wherever you place it, you have to think about it's covering up some of the page on where you place it, and then you have to think about how it's going to like all line up. And so the way I had done it, and it was on a like 8x10, I had done mine on my tabs on an 8x10 softbound because the first planner I got from Erin Condren was a 8x10 softbound vertical. And I started January and I went all the way down to December, like for each calendar page. And what ended up happening is when I closed the book, it was like, it bulked. And then as I would write in it while using it, it was kind of irritating to have like a bump along the edge. And so if you do want to put the tabs on there from Erin Condren, I don't think I would recommend doing it the way I did because they overlapped, and that might be what the problem was. I would do 6 months and then 6 months. Sort of like, I can't show you, well, I'll use this one. Excuse me. So sort of how they have their weekly planners, the tabs like this. Well, this is not a very good example of it because they start January down here. But if you were to do like January, February, March, April, May, and then go June, July, August, September, like go like that, as opposed to trying to squeeze them all in a line, if that makes sense. But what I would recommend instead is to get some, and I have some, I'm sure other shops have these sort of things, but mine, I have some from Poi & Hun. I got these little divider tabs that are sticky notes, and they have these in like different colors, but the ones I got were a white and like this beigey blush color, and they are super thin. And so it makes it really easy for, I can show you, see I have one of these flags right here, and it doesn't like bulk it at all. It's because it's so thin. So that's what I would recommend instead, because that's just a thinner option, is to find some really thin divider tabs instead of the thick vegan leather tabs from Erin Condren. So let me go ahead and flip. That's a great quote. Okay, actually I am looking at this, I paused because, let me go back to the observances, because I'm pretty sure May 1st is Mental Health Awareness Month. It's also Jewish American Heritage Month and Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. And the 1st is also International Workers' Day. And so they did not put any of those right here on here. So if you want to make sure that you do not forget any of the heritage and awareness of observances that are listed here, you need to make sure you mark these in your planner on the calendar page, especially if you're using the calendar pages. Let me look on the 1st in the actual spread and see if it's listed. And it's not listed on here either. So make sure if you want any of those observances are important to you, then you mark them either here or on the calendar page, wherever it's going to make sure you don't forget about it, because it is not listed in there. Let's keep going. They do have Juneteenth on there though. That's I like that quote too. I'm going to pause right here because I want to check take this off. I want to check the 2023 and see if these have the same. They do have the same quotes. So the quotes that are in here in the Ettavee planner are the same ones that are in the Life Planner for 2023. So that's good to know. So when you get to the end of the planner, New Year's Eve is on a Sunday, and so January 2024 starts on a Monday. You do have some lined notes pages back here at the end. Let's see how many you get. Looks like about 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pages of lined, and I'm trying to like not rip these. Okay, sometimes the pages towards the very front and the back, they're kind of like sticky. So at the end, you get the calendar for 2024, which I like that they have little spaces and extra lines down here, because as you get closer to the end of the year and you start having maybe some appointments scheduled, you can go ahead and use this so that you can fill in. Let's say you go to the dentist in July of 2023 and you make your next appointment. Actually, that's not a good example. Let's say you go to the dentist in October of 2023 and then you make your next appointment for 6 months out, which would make it, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it would make it in April of 2024. So then you can write down right here, even though it's October in the planner, you could come back here to the back and write down the appointment date right here, so that when you get to the end of 2023, you can go ahead and already have some of this information filled out for like moving into your new planner. And the very back is what you think you create, what you feel you attract, what you imagine you become. This is probably the same quote on the very, very back of the Life Planner too. Let's see. Yeah. It's just, this one's like, has different font. If you are interested in still trying to check out other 2023 planners that you might be interested in, I am going to be doing a video for next week on the 2023 hourly planner that the team at Erin Condren sent me. This is cute. I like the rainbow. Anyway, I'm going to do a video on this for next week. And so make sure you are subscribed so you can check that one out. If you found this video helpful, make sure you go ahead and give a thumbs up, because that lets me know that you like when I do explain things and not just show you the inside of the planner. And I will continue to make sure that I provide that type of content moving forward as I continue to share other reviews of other planners. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.